Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? Welcome to another episode of Buckshot. It's nearly Christmas, lads. It's Friday, the 16th of December. Patreons, of course, would have gotten this earlier in the week, along with their Ramble Pod. We have a live one for the Patreons. We have a live one this Sunday. Sunday the 18th. Sunday the 18th, we're going to have a live one. A few drinky winkies. Loosey goosey, have the chat. So if you're thinking of becoming a Patreon, you want to jump on, have a bit of crack on a Sunday evening, this Sunday evening, join the Patreon. It's in the show notes. Click through the link for tickets and jumping on Patreons and all that kind of stuff. Fair play to the new Patreons. Thank you very much. Tickets are nearly, I think we're at about 70% sold out for the 29th in my comedy club in Cahir, in Tipperary. So if you are coming, grab your tickets. They're also in that same link in the show notes. Powerful. We have Pat McDonald. And then in January, the end of January, the tickets will go on sale pretty soon for that as well. We're going to have Bernard Casey is coming back to the premiere, because I know he's doing a big INEC one this Christmas, but sure, look at, we'll get him back for the comedy club back on till the last Saturday of the month. Fantastic. Like I said, thank you very much to the Patreons. Thank you very much to the people who are tagging me on Spotify and all the rest with your wrap up things. That's tremendous. So if you are listening for the first time, hit subscribe, hit the bell on whatever platform you're on. If you're going, I'll suck it and see now and see what way we are before I join Patreon, fair enough. Just hit the subscribe button. Tell Nana about it. Give it a screenshot and all the rest. So that's it, really. There's a rake more gigs coming up and whatnot. I'm going to have a Christmas... I hope to have it out before Christmas. My special that I recorded in the Roisin Dove of my show Clattered. And I hope to have it out. If I don't, sure I don't. It's just a case of getting it edited, you know what I mean? It's sitting down with Florian, the man, the myth, the legend that actually filmed it, because he's flat out busy. I'm gone fairly busy myself, which is a good complaint, while freezing the stones off myself around this countryside, visiting every petrol station essentially there is at late night, because that's the joy of being a stand-up comedian. Anyway, I've loads more to tell you, but I'll probably, that's more of a Ramble Pod thing. So come on over, become a Patreon, come on over, join the gang. But moving on to today's guest, this was powerful. This is the first live guest I've had alive. The rest of them have been dead. The first in person, because it just worked out perfect. I was on the way to Belfast, and she was saying, "Do you know what? Would we record it?" Because I get it. Over Zoom can be a bit odd for people, especially if we don't know each other that well. But to be fair, with the voice messages back and forth, we got a good gauge that it was going to be good crack. She is one of the funniest people online at the minute, and I knew the crack would be 90. She's friends with people that I'm friends with, so it was a perfect match for a great podcast. And of course, recorded in the great and powerful spot that is Kavanagh's Bar on Main Street. I think that's Main Street in Portlaoise. If you like sport, you like a good bar, nice vibe, sound people, go to Kavanagh's. We recorded upstairs in the comedy club, where I did tour Clattered as well. It broke about 10 minutes in. The brand new memory card, 64 gig memory card, just went, no, I'm full. I couldn't eat another thing. I'm like, you rotten bastard of a memory card. But thankfully we had a backup one. We got it recorded. We got it done. So you'll notice about 10 minutes in going, yeah, this is we're changing over to the other memory card. We changed gears in the middle of it, like mid-flight conversation. It's time to stop and just start talking about something else, which it worked out to find us. Listen, sit back and enjoy the brilliant Louise Cody. There we go.
Is it because you've never had someone this loud on the microphone, is it?
Do you know what?
Do you need me to move away from the microphone? I can do that if you want.
It's the Midlands leash dulcet tones that the mic... I had it set, actually, I think I set it to Cork accidentally.
Oh, Jesus.
And it wasn't...
We don't have that kind of melody here now. We're pure flat.
Flat.
No, a bit of melody.
To be fair to you have enough of the outside world in you that you pronounce the T in flat. Or is that because I'm here?
That's just because you're
here. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
no, don't feel... I'm only from down the road. Don't feel
usually the THs, it's a very regular special occasion. Irregular, should I say. Special occasion that would come out. The visitors come to the house and the THs come out. Just like the good China.
I love that. I'll never forget, I was in... because it excites, like, I love accents, and the reason why accents are the way they are, like, you go, was it hiding stuff from the British? Were we hiding the T's from the British or something back in the day? Like, Peter is Tejos at the computer drinking water.
Bit of water, yeah.
Articulated lorries is just one of my most favourite
33 and a third.
I never forget, I was in Edenderry one time in a petrol station. Edenderry's a rare spot. It's did you know it's the occult capital of Ireland?
It's a what?
The occult.
What?
Satanic.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, swear to God.
It's not too far from here.
I know. It's just across the Carberry Bog.
I may pay them a visit. My mother calls me the Antichrist all the time.
And this woman was in the queue and she was reading this wedding magazine and she was on the phone to somebody being told what page to go to. And she's like, oh jeez, they're lovely. That's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. And she got to this page where she went, oh, 74, is it? Just, that's very sophisticated. And I went,
sophisticated.
I thought that is the most ironic way of saying sophisticated in the world.
Adding in extra syllables.
No need.
No need for it.
No need. The word was full of syllables. It didn't need any more. Like.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I actually recently was down at a gig in Limerick and my younger brother goes to college there and his friends, we were getting a taxi home and his friends turned around to me and said, Jays, you haven't lost the Laois accent anyway. Like, I've lived in Dublin, I lived in Greece for a while, like I've been around, but it won't leave me. It's like a bad smell, you know.
It's ignorance too, and I like that. I like that. It's a country rural ignorance, and
That's who I am.
I was so happy when I first came across your page. I went, oh Jesus, she's actually speaking how we speak, because it's very easy to kind of go off the. So guys, hi, it's me here to.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be trying on some bits. Yeah, no, I just.
I want to eat my own nostrils.
I can't. It's ingrained in me to talk the way I talk, I guess. I just can't lose it. It probably slows down and neutralizes a little bit more when I'm like in Dublin and around other people. But then sometimes I just kind of go back into my default of my normal accent, and then there's an echo in the room of people basically reiterating what I've said in the way I've said it. Like, I was recently on a weekend in Westport and one of the girls that was there was from Monaghan.
Don't tell me she took the piss out of your accent.
And she still takes the piss out of me about my accent, and I'm like, come here.
Pots and kettles, there, girl.
Don't start me. Once I start, I won't stop.
Start fighting.
Yeah.
Start fighting.
I'll fight any man. Take the shirt off any man's back.
That got me, because that's what piqued my interest. It's like, oh, she hasn't, because so, like, I know I'm friends with girls who, and fellas do it too, but the girls have such a wide scope of things to be talking about, because fellas won't listen to other fellas actually trying to talk about anything. They'll go, where's the drinking involved? You know, so, but girls will, so there is that platform for girls to go, so this is what I've been sent today. Let's see if it's a pile of shite or it actually works. But you know, like, I know girls who put on that accent and you're like, what are you doing?
They kind of all have that generic
hello, hi guys.
video. It's like you're showing your mother answers the phone and she sounds nothing like what she does in real life. Hello, you've reached the Cody residence, and you're like, you don't sound like that. Why are you doing that? Like, there is very much a culture for that kind of an accent, but I don't know. I can't. I've often been on nights out where I've had lads come up to me and be like, you don't look like you'd sound like that. And I'm like,
we will be clipping that. That is going to be that's the trailer.
And I'm like,
you don't look like you sound.
I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean I don't look like I would sound? What do you think I would sound like? And then they just presume it would be like a South Dublin accent. I'm like, well, I am shocked and offended by that statement. But we move. We move. It's a good icebreaker, I guess.
That's tremendous. It's yeah, because my wife had a very strong South Dublin accent when I met her first.
Oh Lord!
But she'd spent time in England, so there was even a softness that way. But she went to a very nice school, the sort of school that would give you this accent regardless in Dublin. They sang hymns and stuff, you know, that kind of way. Nice school. But then she met me, and then it all went off. And she said something the other day that I now realise she can never move back to Dublin. So tip. She was at the boot of the car and I was asking her, had she seen my wallet? Because of course, why could I look for the fucking thing myself? Like, have you seen my wallet? And she popped up and she would have always said something polite like, excuse me, what's that? Sorry.
Does she go, ha?
I swear my life.
No, that's
I swear
I'm always in
on my life. She popped up from behind the back, ha! Like, she even looked a bit like me and everything when she said it. I went, oh, that's so...
Oh, you went full tip on me there.
Oh, full
and I loved every minute of it.
Get up that stairs.
Get up them stairs.
We don't have a stairs. Well, get up something. It was in that moment I went, oh, you're ruined. She can never go back. But she loves it. Like, even our young fella now, when like would have been born at South Dublin, had all the trappings of
could have been, but the next time we moved down while he was still small. So now his first kind of words were like, well, like,
well, lad.
I was so happy. I was so happy. It was like, well, fair good. Who's that fella? I was like, Jesus Christ.
Real.
Any other way, like, had we stayed even a little length of time, would have been, here's a game. Do you know what I mean? It would have been absolutely amazing. But
a few dynamites with the guys.
A few dynamites. Vitamin H, guys. Got to get it to you.
Revo. I shouldn't be taking the piss out of him, God bless. I mean, like, I really can't talk when it comes to accents. Like, I don't take the piss out of anyone's accent because I'd be the first one to take the piss out of my own.
Oh, listen, I still meet people. Like, I did a show years ago called Damon Ivor, where I played a posh character in it. I played a guy called Tarquin. And
I know Damon Ivor. I didn't realize you were on it.
So I didn't have this get up going on.
I loved the one where it's like, how do you check the oil? Use the dipstick. Dipstick, come and check the oil. There's a dipstick. He calls the car driver dipstick. Devils.
He was a lovely fella, that guy that played Dipstick. He was he had no idea what he was doing on set with us, the poor bastard, because things got wild.
Yeah.
It was a wild time to making a TV show like that, because everybody they needed were actually from the area, bar me.
Yeah.
Like, so they go, so we're going to need, like, you know, maybe 30 or 40 girls from, say, Dublin who are just wild. And they'd literally, there was like a hotline to ring them, and they would show up. And then I'd be stuck in the middle going, sorry, I'll just kick off my willies there 1 second. What accent did you want again? And here's again. Collar goes up. Here you go. But I still meet people who get annoyed at me because of that. Like, genuinely, a taxi driver one time went, it's not right. I went, what do you mean it's not right? No, I mean, I looked you in the shower and all, but you know what I mean? This, you know, it's what? I said, it's called acting, man.
But were they mad at the time, or are they just mad now?
Oh, they're mad now because they found out that I wasn't actually from Dublin, and that was from 200 miles away.
Yeah, but it's kind of that, we're in that era now where everyone's mad about everything.
Oh, sure, I love
it. You can't do anything. Like,
I know, and you. This is a question I must ask you, because, like, I get very little heat when it comes to people giving me guff, because they're like, he's a stand-up, he tells dick jokes. What can I say to him? But I've had people, like, when I'm on podcasts and I'm going up the north, and I remember somebody going, I can't believe you wore that trousers and short combo on a podcast. I'm like, what? How is that even in your thought process?
I know, sure. I do still be in the mindset that going to podcasts, I'm like, I do forget the times they're recorded. I'm like, haha, take me as I am, so.
But that's the thing is, like, the video of this will only be going on Patreon. There's a handful of lads abroad that watch it. That's it.
Well, lads, subscribe to the Patreon, you will, yeah?
Fair play.
Good lad.
That'll actually be another clip. Well, lad.
Go on, lad. Good lad.
But
give us your money. I know.
But like, you must be, Jesus, I mean, because I know you don't put yourself out there in that sense. Like, you put yourself out there. You create characters every time, like, because you're a comedy-based person. Like,
well, the character is me. So any of the backlash I get is actually me that gets the negative backlash. It's actually not a persona.
Who's giving you negative backlash?
Well, there are at times, but I think a lot of people that follow me now, it's not that it's weaned out. I wouldn't say it's weaned out because it's growing, but I think that they're getting involved at a time that they see that is me.
They get it.
They get it that it's me. So if, like, before, I think people thought I was putting it on. And then the more content I show of me at home and me with my family and me just talking and just being myself, in terms of even when I get deliveries, they're starting to realize that, oh, she's not putting this on. This is who she is. So there's less room for them to be like, oh, you're a joke or this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm a joke. That's the point. Like, that's the point of what I do. But I get so many comments now of people saying that they have, like, shit days and that I make them laugh. And I'm like, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
like, be careful telling me that you think I'm funny, though, because I'll get ahead of myself.
Yeah. Well, that's the Irish in you, because I love your handle is Classy Cody.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you were given that to yourself or somebody gave that to you in actual on-the-nose classiness, because Irish people don't do that.
So where Classy Cody came from was the very first time I got an iPhone, I had a stupid email address, something like loopyloo12 something. Didn't have a Gmail address.
Hotmail at hotmail.com.
Yeah. Sexy babes waiting to answer your call. But I was there with two of the lads, and I was like, Jesus, I can't for the life of me think of an email address. Like, what I should have done was louisecody@gmail.com if I had any brain between my ears. But one of the lads just goes, Classy Cody. And I was like, why would I call it classy? He's like, because you're fierce classy. Like, how I carry myself, how I would dress, and just my morals when it comes to just normal life things. And then sure, I stuck with the name, and I had it like on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all across the board, because it was just my email address, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like you put in your email address, it automatically picks your username.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so that's what I am. And then when I started the social media stuff, I kind of started to feel like, oh Jesus, this is more of a running joke now at this stage, because I cursed.
And it was about this time that the memory card, which should have been empty, decided to tell me that it was absolutely full. So, managed to get another one from somewhere down the back of the sofa, and we got the show back on the road. Let's go back to the podcast.
Well, I love the way you didn't jump in, because you're definitely not a techie person either, are you?
I don't know, I'd be fairly decent at the
would ya?
tech, but I could see how small the writing was on the screen. That's why I said straight off the bat, I'm like, I'm blind, I can't see what that is, so I wasn't even going to try to attempt. Also, I didn't want to put you under pressure. 'Cause, you know, it's a stressful thing when your equipment doesn't work.
That's fair sound, because a lot of people would be over your shoulder going, and did you
Well,
ask
and did you do this? And did you do that? I'm like, what are you, a fucking manual? No.
People do, like, in fairness to, you can't, I used to absolutely lose the rag with people, but the more and more, like that, the people that would have been going on early doors in your career, like asking you, just making stupid, you can't get angry at people really anymore, can you?
No.
Like, there's no point, like, because
It's wasted energy. To be honest, well, I wouldn't be an angry person anyway. It'd take an awful lot for me to get angry. Unless it's a hunger issue. That's a different...
oh yeah, well that's...
I think that's a given when you're a woman. I think if you're hungry, someone could die. So I have like a grace period where it's like I let people around me know when I'm hungry. I literally, that's how bad it gets. Like there's a full, you've heard of alter egos. I go full switch, like.
Do you?
So I'd be like, okay, so especially if I'm nowhere near food, I'd be like, okay, this is a warning shot. We've got like 10 minutes before. I'm at a 7. We've got 10 minutes. And then it's like, I'm at 9. I'm at 11. I'm at 11. We need to. And then once, but so sometimes when I get to 11, I go full. So obviously gone way past 10. I go silent.
Really?
Yeah, like it's completely silent, and I'm never quiet, as you can imagine. It was painful for everyone around me, more so than anything else. But when I go quiet, then everyone's like, "Does she need a snack or something? Just get her a snack quick. Don't even look at her. Don't make eye contact. Just." Slowly pass the protein bar to her and back away slowly as well. No sudden movements. Yeah, but no, it would take an awful lot for me to get angry anyway.
To be fair play to you for actually copping that it's hunger, because the amount of times the length of time I've been on this planet, I still get surprised at my own rattiness as a result of hunger. And I'm very ratty when I get hungry.
Yeah.
Like I'm normally right easy going, but when it comes to hunger, I'm the very same way. But I get surprised by myself going, and it will take an intelligent person around me to go, maybe you should eat something.
Yeah. Well, when's the last time you eaten?
Yeah, or asking that question. But
Yeah.
oh no, I ate on the way, pretty close to the way here. So
Okay,
this
that's
is all
good.
going to be very somber.
Grand, no
very
hunger.
relaxed.
Yeah, I ate before I came as well. So
Be
you're in safe hands. We will not let the demon out today.
It's good, but getting back to the classy one, I do like that, because that's Ireland in a nutshell, isn't it? Like if you've straight hair, but easily as an Irish nickname, you'd be called Curly.
Yeah.
Because heaven forbid, I'm amazed that somebody actually kind of paid you a compliment by saying, I don't know, you're classy enough, like.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like an Irish thing. Is our love language is abuse.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd be the kind of person that if I think someone deserves a compliment, I'll come straight and say it. Like,
Would you?
oh yeah, I'm very complimentary. Like, and a lot of people, it's funny because you do see people. I even as recent as this week, like anyone I've complimented, they just get so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with it. They're
Yeah.
like, oh well, stay ahead of you. And I'm like, right, okay, well that's you. That's fine. You can't take compliments, but that's just me. Like,
Yeah, I've noticed that, and I think it probably comes with confidence in that the lack of shite you give, because I notice people, it's an embarrassment thing to give a compliment.
yeah,
It's like, I'm embarrassed. Like I see it now, especially since I moved back down home. There's people aren't as knotted in self-loathing as they were when I left.
Yeah.
Do you know the kind of way people are like, hey, but like there's still people who would go, well, how's comedy going? And it's like you're going, man, just
kill them.
let it go.
Let it go.
Just relax.
Who
Relax.
hurt you? I think that part of it though for me is like, the way like Irish culture is just like they hate to see people doing well, and I think that's kind of ingrained in me that like, especially if I'm like scrolling through my Instagram and I see a girl who I mightn't be friends with, who I know, and that she looks well or whatever, I will go out, I will tell her she looks well. Like, Do you know, that would just be in my head, because I think it's just a standard thing that people just go by, oh, she looks well. I'm never going to tell her that. Like, do you know?
Are women nicer than men though in that factor? Do you think? Like, because no bloke is ever, unless in comedy I do, like, because I'm growing the hair for charity and it's all coming off next week, and people were like, lads were going, jeez, Tom, I like it. I'm like, it's because it's comedians hair, but it's ridiculous. Like, but the moustache, lads are going, don't you ever get rid of that moustache. I'm living vicariously through it because I can't grow one.
Yeah.
And that's the only compliment I will ever get off a man.
Yeah.
Ever.
Now
Now saying that, I don't get many of women either.
Yeah. It's a catch-22. No, I don't think men are very good at giving compliments. I think if a man, like, just even like, I don't know, that's a tough one. It's like they don't want to give you too big of a head either, like.
Right. Yeah.
So they'd be like, oh no, like, keep her grounded. I'm not going to tell her that, like.
Is that the idea behind it? Like,
well, I don't know. I'm not a man. I don't think anyway. But but that's what I would take from it. Like,
I think you're probably right. But it's probably a confidence thing. Is that if they get kind of more the upper hand on me in this conversation, then I'm nothing at all because I've got nothing to back it up. Like, you know.
Whereas I'm like an open book. Like.
Well, in fairness to you, like you asked the logical question when we were messaging back and forth about it, because is there a format to this, Tom, or questions you want to ask? And I went. And sometimes when, especially sports people, a lot of the time they want to know from, you know, literally from minute 1 to minute whatever, what are we going to be asking? And I normally go, listen, here's one I did earlier.
But it's more so because, like, especially with a sports person, you know, you're getting someone who is fairly elite at playing a sport, and sometimes not always a personality. Not that they don't have a personality, but that kind of showmanship, like, that they show on the field, doesn't translate into speaking.
Of course.
So it can be quite an awkward scenario to sit down and answer questions when you're not prepared, because it's that social anxiety. Do you know? Whereas I'll talk shit to the wall if it talk back to me, like.
But Dan, that's what I was getting to, is that, like, with a sports person, what I'll do is I'll normally send them on 1 or 2 sports ones to go, oh no, listen, we don't even have to talk about your sport if you don't want to.
Yeah.
We can just talk about whatever you want.
The crack
And growing trees or whatever you want, licking psilocybin mushrooms. I don't mind whatever you're into.
Whatever you like to do in your spare time.
But, like, I had full confidence in your ability when you were going, is there a format here or what? And I went, we just have the crack.
Yeah.
And that you'll know. Because I need only watch 10 seconds of, say, the likes of your stuff, or go, she'll be grand.
Yeah.
Just flip the switch, she'll go.
Yeah.
Because, but there, in fairness, once you heard that, you were like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Once.
Yeah, it's more so when there's, like, structure to it. I'm like,
structure.
Now, I'm be very organised and I like structure, but when it comes to being asked questions and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, do you know, if I have to prepare an answer for something, it nearly, like,
I wouldn't do
takes the crack out of it.
I wouldn't do this podcast if that's what it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If it was that.
This is your life.
Yeah, moving. So, anyway, I see here, Louise, back in 2003, you were into the Spice Girls. Now, tell me, like that now.
It was a dark time for us all, you know. It was a dark time.
We all got.
I don't like to think about those times.
We all got through it together. Steps were like the stepping off drug. They were.
Oh my god! I actually saw Spice Girls when they had their reunion tour. It was brilliant.
Of course it was, because
it was absolutely Herbie 2.0 fully loaded for the gig. Can't even remember most of it, but it was great fun, I think. Yeah, it was great.
But the likes of you're going to get a show regardless, even if you weren't into the Spice Girls. I
couldn't even see the stage. I was in the nosebleeds, but sure, like, we had to crack. That's all that mattered.
You were on the sesh too, so
yeah, but sure, I'm always on the sesh.
Literally, she poured a nagging of whiskey into her coffee as we sat down, and you're driving away from this too.
Just before I drove here, yeah.
And we'll drive away.
And we'll drive. I know. Don't be at that now. My daddy will be listening to this. The retired sergeant of traffic. Couldn't be at that. Jesus. Good Lord above, sweet Jesus.
Comedy podcast, Dad. It's a comedy podcast. Not everything will be 100% true.
Hides hip flask. I know.
I've often found sergeants' daughters and sons tend to be the wildest.
That's a common misconception.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, I have met a couple that you go,
it makes sense. Yes. Yeah, I think it can go one of two ways. I think if they're limited fairly, like, if there's a lot of limitations on you when you're younger, that you tend to break away from the limitations and then go mad. Whereas we have a very lax household and we get on. There's a mutual respect between the siblings and the parents. Like,
Yeah.
so we all get on really well. So.
I love the way you make it sound like the board of management. Honestly, as its staff.
We all get on really well. We will keep management in place for a couple of years at least. It's been quite successful. I know, but like Daddy didn't come down very hard on us at all. Like, so there was never any reason to rebel. So. And that I used to be painfully shy, so
were you?
I know.
What?
You wouldn't even think it. Yeah.
No, now this is making this is actually making sense because you're like, when did you drop the handbrake? So, or when did?
She's always like, say, when did you drop the hand? I was like, on what? Good Lord!
What?
I was like, this took a turn.
On life, Tom. On life. I dropped the hand.
I dropped
on
the
life.
hand on life when I was about 21. I know. No, I used to be like, because I was bullied quite badly when I was in primary school. And I kind of carried that through my teenage years. And I had to do an awful lot of work on myself to come out of my shell. So that's one thing I kind of get across in my content is like, people look at me and think, Jesus, isn't it great to be like that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
it didn't happen overnight. Like, do you know, it took an awful lot of work. And once you're proactive about looking after yourself and going and getting yourself sorted, you can get there too. But it's not going to happen unless you do something about it.
And who was the driving factor in getting you? Did you seek help?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a counsellor, and had a good chat.
In what? By the time you were in secondary school, or was it still junior?
No, it completely manifested it in my first year of college. I ended
did
up
it?
like dropping out of college, and then I went and got all the help and just totally kind of reformed my whole outlook on life. Like,
who gave you that tip, or were you like, I need help here? Like,
oh yeah, well I suppose it was years of repressing the same stuff. So I was repressing, and then a breakdown of a relationship, and I just completely wasn't able to function because it all just kind of came back to the surface.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the catalyst that made me go talk to someone. And like, I suffered really badly with anxiety for years, so going to talk to someone really helped me understand what I was feeling, kind of give me coping mechanisms that I never had before, and just allowed me to be myself. Like,
yeah.
You kind of like, I think when you're younger, especially if you're bullied, you care so much about what people think
Course.
of you. You want everyone to like you. But, you know, not everyone's going to like it. And you know that from being in comedy. Like, but I've got to the point now where I'd rather be someone's shot of whiskey than everyone's cup of tea.
Oh, jeez, I like that.
Yeah.
I like
but like
that.
but for years I wanted to be the cup of tea. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Oh,
Fuck
listen.
the tea. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love tea. I'm mad for a cup of tea here and there, but
It's fair born sometimes.
oh yeah, sometimes
Fair born.
no, just be yourself. Like,
Listen, there's that too in stand up, like where there's this absolute beige shit, and I will call it that. It's do you know what's gas about everybody? And I'm like, I don't give one fuck. You are absolutely hitting no high notes there.
yeah.
Like I was just talking with PJ that owns Kavanagh. This podcast has been brought to you by Kavanagh of Portlaoise.
Kavanagh's Portlaoise. Stop in for a pint. They're decent.
That's it. No, that's the most.
And cut.
That's the most Portlaoise. It's not amazing. They're decent.
They're
And that's-
they're decent.
You can't ask for much more. But I was chatting with him downstairs, and we were talking about a couple of big name comedians, and they were saying, you know, there's how they want the entire, they want to be so whited out with the lights that because they do not want to see the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and these are long running comics, so you can't assume. I'm knowing both of who he was talking about. I was like, well, they don't mind seeing the audience, and so it ain't a nervous thing. And when you're 30 years in the game, like you're the king of what you do, you can't be that. So it isn't a nervous thing. So you literally have that little respect, because it ain't a money thing at that point, because you're crushing it money wise.
Yeah.
I would sooner play this venue here than play a huge venue, because you can see Breda's nostrils sitting here.
Yeah.
I can see Sean's eyes there, and everything they give you is 100% in that moment.
Yeah. But
And
you kind of rely on the reactions of the audience to feed into your performance, you know, and play
I
off it,
do.
because sometimes you would need to switch things up to get the people going, you know.
Oh yeah, like we've there's been a couple of mad ones here. This is a perfect room to reference. Like I remember doing, it was kind of a rollover gig. They have Halloween Howls. It was kind of a comedy festival over a weekend, and they had two shows on, one immediately after the other. And the first one was wild. I think Bernard O'Shea was on, or whatever, local boy, and they were steamboats in here. And a lot of the people here had bought tickets to the next show, so they were just staying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no, it's home time for most of you lads. This is home time.
Yeah.
And I was hosting the show, and it was going off the rails badly. Like, and for a finish, all I did was it just went wild. I ended up bringing one of the mad jokes on stage. None of this was scripted. How are you?
Hello.
Great. You're all right. You're all right. But it was in that thing where you couldn't do it if it was a huge venue. What we ended up doing that night, it just because of the wildness of it, you could only control it because you could see the people's faces.
You could interact, yeah.
But the enjoyment I would get, I do stand up because I love stand up, not because I need to feel good about myself.
Not for validation. Yeah.
It's not for validation. It certainly isn't anymore.
Yeah.
And it certainly isn't after lockdown. And the privilege that it is that people will pay to come and see me tell them jokes that I've written for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to have the disrespect, I think, personally, of I want to bleach me out so much that I can't see the audience, because then you may as well be doing a Zoom gig.
Yeah.
You're going, what? What's the crack?
You may as well just hand them the piece of paper to read off. Like,
this is, and I mean, that's, I could not grasp the way, and that's why the likes of this up here, and this is where I'm going the long way around saying, so when are we starting you doing stand-up comedy, is what I'm trying to say, Louise, Classy Cody.
Oh, it's in the pipeline. It definitely is in the pipeline. It's something I'm working on. I've got some good mentors in place. Stephen Kelly, Cowboy, who is on to me every day, if not every second day. Are you focusing on your 7 minutes? Are you writing? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. But, it's keeping me accountable for it. So he's on to me about opening up for him in Athlone on the 22nd.
22nd of...
of December. But I kind of said, look, I'll MC it. I'll introduce the gig. I'll introduce the acts that are going to be on the stage.
Yeah.
Maybe just, and he was like, yeah, because that'll give you confidence on the stage, because I would be good with a microphone. I'd be good MCing. But when it comes to writing the content that I would deliver in a show over and over again, that's something I'm going to need to work at, because English is my first language, but it doesn't come that naturally to me, You
don't look like you speak that way.
You don't look like you speak like you
talk
speak.
funny.
You talk kind of funny. Yeah. So it's more so trying to find, because I've been advised to stick with what I know. And what do I know? Leash. Lovely leash. What else do I know? Pints. And but it's just trying to find a happy balance of something I'm well able to talk about and be funny about.
But you see the format of it too. You're going to have to write it and rewrite it, and you will rewrite. Like I just thought, and it was actually more of a thing for me to see, could stand up be taught?
Yeah.
Because I always believed it could not be taught, but it was put to me for some money to a corporate company. Would I do this? And I went,
cash is king.
But I came up with a formula over a 6-week period to take 10 people and create stand-ups out of them.
Okay.
Through and I mean, I drilled them into the ground, and one, they all came up trumps, but one in particular came up trumps phenomenally. To the next stage, that if she pushed on and dropped her job, she has it.
She has
the thing.
It. Yeah.
The thing you're born with, not the thing that you.
Yeah. It can't be taught.
It can
be. Yeah.
But what was so lucky was it was almost like polishing a diamond that you found that looked like an old normal stone. All the other normal stones look the same, but it's the format is that you'll find when you do write, because I mean there's so much leash, the way to you would even approach leash with somebody in Monaghan would be, I know you may know nothing about leash. Leash is where happiness goes to there's that's a formula to get him in the door, and then you can go on about what it does is it goes come on in.
And even just I'm always getting slagged for being in a landlocked county and not being anywhere near the sea, and I make fun of myself an awful lot for that when I enter into scenarios. Like the first thing I said when I was in Westport on a weekend with Northern Hemisphere, I said, I'm delighted to be here. I don't get to be beside the sea very often. It's kind of a bit of a privilege for me. Yeah. And it was an island off of Westport as well. I was like, I don't know if you noticed either, we don't have any islands.
Yeah.
And even Lovely Leash has something 20 years ago today when I first sailed away. It's not as easy to sail away from Leash as you might think. Well,
there you go. You can't sail in a bog. Highlight your bog. You got a good sized bog.
I love my bog.
I like Leash.
It's a nice bog.
It's my bog. It's
my bog.
It's a good bog. I do like it here because there's humble is the wrong word, but there's a very normal vibe to it here, in that I gig here loads, and I remember bringing the tester was I brought. I was casting a one-man play that we toured the island of Ireland with. And we came to Laois, and it sold well. I was like, fair play. People come out to see a play, and it was a comedy or whatever, but
what I like about leash people is there's still enough of an upbeat vibe about them, because you go to some counties and Jesus, there's no crack at all.
Be droll enough, like.
Well, you're just trying to pull life out of them, and then you go to other counties and they're like, we're amazing, by the way. Did I tell you that?
It's easy for you to come here and to have the crack, because if you're playing in a venue like Kavanagh's Portlaoise, if you're playing in a venue like Kavanagh's Portlaoise, which is smack bang in the middle of Main Street, which I'm not sure if you've noticed has about 150 pubs.
It has quite a lot of pubs.
That's all we have.
Yeah.
So we're built on the foundation of crack and pints.
But crack and pints.
And you know what? You'd never think of it, but Portlaoise would be a savage spot for a stag. The train station is right up there. There's a hotel, and the street is just fully pubs.
I don't know why it isn't more like Ennis gets a great name, and like you see, I don't think it's far away enough from places. That should be the reference for Portlaoise. Never too far away. Like that should be. It's actually on the sign
instead of the road out of it.
No,
no.
No, but that should be the sign coming into Portlaoise. You're not too far away now.
Yeah.
Do you know, from home?
Think of that drive home.
It's not too far. Like if you're stagging from, let's say, Dublin, and you head to Kenmare, that's a whore of a drive back.
Oh,
with
Jesus.
a head on you. Do you know what I mean?
You want to be booking the Monday off for that one?
Portlaoise. That's its selling point.
Doable.
It's not. Oh yeah, listen, I have done it, and the nightmare of Kenmare.
You've heard of 12 pubs of Christmas, but have you heard of the 150 pubs of Portlaoise of Christmas? I've tried to complete it and failed every time.
It's a good. I like it here because there's no uppityness in people now. Because
you'll find it if you look for it.
You will. Here, listen, you find that in Tiptown. But like, what I'm saying is, you find counties who probably, who do really well, say, at GA.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and they've an awful notion of themselves. And counties then that do middling at GA. And they're fierce at it. But whatever it is about Leash tips away at its GA, but there seems to be a nice even keel.
At club level, you'd have it in club level, definitely. County-wise, no, you wouldn't probably have the same level of notions.
I like it, but there's a self-deprecation to it too. It's like, our Leash, where you go to Kavanagh, and Kavanagh genuinely think they're going to compete every year at the football. Like,
listen, it's been a terrible 2 years to be a Leash supporter, but I have to support anyway, and it's hard. It's hard every time I'm going. But if you don't have hope, what do you have? You have absolutely nothing. You might as well be pissing into the wind. You have absolutely nothing.
This is, that's another slogan for Leash. If you don't have hope, you have absolutely nothing.
At least we've hope. Hope for what? Not so sure on what, but we have hope. Plenty of it.
When did social media? When did it become a thing where you're kind of going, here, this is kind of working? Like, when did it? Not that it feels like work, because you seem like you're having a right good crack, but like, we all have social media. We've all had it from yonks ago. Like, and yonks, that's not a word I've used in literally yonks.
Look at that.
You brought out a retro word.
I'm bringing out the nostalgia in you.
That's
Look at that.
Retro 2004 word.
Take my small victories.
Class.
Well, to be honest, I think I have such crack at it because I don't rely on it as an income.
Yeah.
I think you find that people who are on social media that put everything into it, they give up everything and put everything into it, it shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every second video is an ad, this and that. Like, I get sent stuff all the time, but like, I'll put up stuff and kind of be funny about it rather than be like, buy this. I'll be like, you're sending me wax. What are you trying to say? That I'm hairy? That's awful. But like, no, like, it kind of started at like most people with social media that worked on it previous to lockdown. Really, I was bored. I worked in finance head, didn't have much room for personality or any kind of creativity. You were just punching numbers, every month, kind of robotic stuff. And I was just bored at home, and I just started messing around. And to be honest, I kind of started on TikTok thinking, "Jez, the dog's going to make me famous."
My number one thought for me was, my dog is going to make. And to be fair, the dog did do well, but the ego got too big. The agent came in. It was like, I can't have.
Listen, dog, I can't afford to pay these bills. No, but like Taz, he's a German Shepherd. He's absolutely my same size as me. He's a big yolk. He is. He's large as hell. Like,
that's going in your bio. Big yolk.
Big yolk from Leash. Does damage. to pints.
Never rallied
and
or
other-
raced or ever went sideways, but you'll murder a pint.
Murder a lot of things. No, so I thought the dog would get me famous, but sure, jeez, that was like, I don't know, clutching at straws. Really thought because he's so good looking. And then I just started messing around doing lip syncs and stuff like that. I do quite a bit of I did quite a bit of South Park lip syncs.
Ah, very
at
good.
the start. And like I'm very good with lyrics and stuff like that. Like I've always been told that if I was like, as good at life as I am at remembering lyrics, I'd be fucking flying it. Needless to say, I'm not as good at life, so I'm not flying it. But it kind of took off from there, and I kind of got my first 1,000 followers on TikTok, and you can go live when you get your first 1,000 followers. So I was going live every Sunday watching the NFL. So like I'm big into sport. So I was watching the NFL, and then I kind of grew a kind of a fan base that were Irish and into the NFL, and that grew.
You cute whore.
Oh, listen.
You cute whore, because the NFL is the new. It is like the new Skoda Octavia. They were huge back in 2008 when everybody thought, this is great, it's cheaper than a Passat, but it's a great car. And now the NFL is the same thing, and that people are going, bars are starting to open up for the NFL and stuff like that.
Well, I was always into the NFL.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough.
So it's no new baby to me, but that's kind of what I knew.
Yeah.
So I was kind of nervous going on the camera at first, and then I was just there watching games and reacting to games, and that kind of grew from there. And then I play GAA, so I was doing quite a bit of GAA content, and it was just there was no point where I can even pinpoint where it took off.
Yeah.
But I had like a core following for the South Park stuff, where they'd always be like, when's the next South Park video? And the same, like the GAA stuff, the NFL stuff, and then I started doing the podcast Off the Leash. I don't know, did you hear of that?
Yeah.
With David Cody and Bob Flavin and that, and then I had a following of farmers and roadheads and everything. I was like, I don't even know how to appeal to this clientele. I'm like, I like cars, but I can't for the life of me talk about them. And then I kind of started working with a few brands, and it just grew and grew. And I just, to be honest, being on social media gave me this newfound confidence. So kind of like what I said similarly earlier about my accent, like that I would have always been brought up thinking, and not through my family or anything like that, because geez, they all talk the same as I do. my older brother in particular is even worse than I am.
You all have the exact same voice, even just sitting around the table.
Yeah. Hey lad, pass the salt. I know. But I kind of would have been afraid to use my own voice on video, so I did quite a bit of lip syncing at the start, and then I did a couple of videos with my voice, and people were like, oh my god, I love your accent. And I was like, sorry, what did you just say to me? Did you say it again? Please, one more time. Just one more time, please. I didn't quite hear you the first time. And they were like, no, we love your accent. So I started doing more, and the videos of me just talking and being myself did really well. And it gave me a confidence, you know? Because for years I would have thought, geez, I hate my voice. The sound of that, go away.
Oh, listen.
Now I'd listen to myself talk all day. I know.
I'll send you a recording immediately so you can drive home and listen
Great.
to it. Yeah.
It's not that far of a drive.
Just keep circling the town until you're finished.
Doing laps, like.
But isn't that a class thing about social media as a result, the end result of it in the real world, flip back to you, then it was like, I feel better about you. I literally feel better about yourself as a result of. Yeah,
there was times where I you get the TikTok particularly. I don't get it on Instagram, but on TikTok is a cesspool for abuse, like proper hard abuse, like. And David Cody gave me great advice. He said, "Don't take in the good comments," and I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, if you take in the good comments, it gives you this false sense of security that when you get a bad one, it completely knocks you.
Right, yeah.
So the comments don't even register with me now. Like, as in, I will go through comments and I'll respond in a funny way to the majority of them.
Yeah.
But they don't register it with me. Like, I'll read them, but it just doesn't sit in me. Like, it would other times, like, people would have said stuff, it would have sat with me. And then I'd like have to take like social media breaks, like, and be like, Jesus, they don't even know what they've done to me. Like, I have to take a break from this. I'm exhausted. But like, it's the people that are around you in your close circle that know you. Their opinions matter. Yes, these people you'll never want to meet them. Like,
that's tall.
Why would it matter?
Like, the reality is they haven't put much thought into what it's literally just typing with their thumb and then they walk away. And for you then to hang on to that, you're going like. That's doing no justice at all.
Yeah.
You've got like, I've only seen it again because I suppose like
there's probably I don't know. They just probably figure it to a point. But it's funny when you put up when I make a statement of sorts, like how like I did. I'm brutal for keeping a series going of things. Like I do this thing called Irish History Facts.
Okay.
FECTS.
Okay.
Facts.
Facts.
A
few fact.
It's a fact.
That's a fact.
And these ridiculous things like
Yeah.
aluminium cans were invented in Roscommon as a result
Laois is not a real place.
things like this, like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and the reason why, like John Bon
Yeah.
Jovi, you know, it's originally from Laois, and this is where he wrote, you know, and but the amount of people that will write underneath going, I think you'll find, and you're like, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
You absolute dipshit.
Yeah,
Like, I
you're
get
the engagement you're giving me from feeding into it. That's a new thing I've started doing now. If I get a bad comment, I'd be like, "Oh, thank you for commenting. It really helps my engagement. Love you."
Yeah, you're feeding the monster. Keep it coming. Keep it
Yeah.
coming.
But it kind of brings it back, kind of full circle to what you ask about like social media and it being like me having the crack on it. Like I feel like I can have the crack on it because it's a hobby to me.
Yeah. Okay, right. There's nothing balancing on it, like.
Well, no, not at all. Like, as in, I really enjoy it, and I have such fun, and I love working with brands and all that goes along with it. But I feel like if I was reliant on it, I don't think it would be the same.
Of course.
The outcome of it wouldn't be the same anyway. Output.
I suppose it becomes work then, and the danger of failure has a bigger consequence, doesn't it?
But also the industry is so volatile. Like,
course
you're never fully secure, and I like a bit of security me now.
You know what? You're 100, but sure, it goes across the whole ways that when taking any of these tweets, like this sort of thing, like people get so violent about Twitter and stuff. I'm like, but it's just only words, lads.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a belt of a hurley across the back of the legs? That's way worse than somebody calling you a bollocks online. Trust me, I'd call me a bollocks all day.
You think a tweet is bad? Imagine being from Laois. Jesus Christ.
Well, you're trying to eat your hurley.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do with the thing. God bless you.
Trying to feed the family with the hurley, like.
Boiled hurley for lunch again today.
Oh God, is there anything to go with? Half a slitter. You'll be
I tell you
chewing
what,
on
there
it for a
isn't.
while.
There's no All Ireland final to go with it, so shut up and eat your hurley.
Oh no, that was a step
I
too
know,
far.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
I-
you didn't need to go there.
I didn't at all,
Jesus.
actually, and you know what? I retract that statement. I'm very, very sorry. I wasn't even going to speak sport, but sure. While we're on the matter,
Go on then, go on. Give me your worst.
is it you play GA
I play football, yeah.
class?
Yeah, I played rugby and I played AFL as well. But sure, I absolutely banjaxed my spine. Couldn't play that anymore. And
Hold on, you banjacked your spine AFL or
rugby, high tackle. You know, big bitch like me.
big yoke.
Big yoke.
Where did you play in rugby?
I started at full back, moved to the wing, moved in to first centre.
You're a
down.
tall winger, like.
Yeah. I could run fast, like.
Yeah.
I know.
Imagine you'd be a nightmare. Them big long legs now, big old knees hitting you in the face.
And I'm strong as well.
Yeah,
Big yoke.
big, a big mullican
Yeah.
leash one. Tom, I started playing for the lads for a
An
finish.
absolute tank. I honestly, I think I would have been okay if I stayed at full back or even on the wing. I moved into first centre then. It was crash ball all day, and
Yeah.
that's where I did all the damage. Like,
Buttery fellas like me is where first centres are supposed to be. That's where I was about 15 stone at my height when I played first centre, and it never took a dack of difference to me because I'm squat built anyway, so it was like,
yeah.
grand.
I played a little bit of fly half, and I loved that because like the kicking from football,
Yeah, of
and stuff
course.
like that was great. But sure, I think I was just too much of a force to be put in there.
I love that.
I was too strong, like.
I was.
But sure, it was the same in football. I'd always be blown for charging, and I'm like, sure, it's not my fault. She bounces off me like when I'm running. Like,
Tell her keep out of my road.
Get
And
out.
no problem.
Okay, I'll try not drop the shoulder when I'm running. Okay, it's not that easy. Like,
I love that this female Sean O'Brien like just milling everybody, just going what?
oh, that's a great compliment. I'll take that.
The
female Sean O'Brien.
the leash tank. Yeah, I like it.
Uh-huh.
But and I mean, the idea that if to flip it back the other way for anybody kind of going that they were bullied in school or bullied at different points in their life, probably could possibly either be bullied in, like the notion that like you're milling people, you're larger than your average girl or whatever, you're taller and stronger than your average girl.
You can say large. I'm not offended. It's grand.
Well, large, I suppose large could be mean you big hair. You know what I mean? You could be large in any way. Like I have large hair right now, so I mean it couldn't. I have a large moustache.
You have majestic old hair on you at the minute.
It's all going. It'll be all cut in Steve's barbershop next weekend for charity.
What charity?
The Prader-Willi syndrome.
Oh,
It's
it's a chromosome syndrome
Okay.
that not many people. It's a tough one. I was talking about it again. I didn't know enough about charities to what do I give. And so many of the popular ones are going, well, I'm sure they're getting plenty of funding from.
Yeah, it's the ones that don't have quite a lot of exposure that need the help. Like,
I think so. And it was, I was just going to cut it off anyway, but my wife was like, you have to do it for charity. And we both know this chap whose son, he suffers from the condition.
Yeah.
Like, and it's phenomenal. Like, what they come with a lot of times is an insatiable hunger. They don't have the cutoff point.
okay,
Very tough, because imagine being like you talked about the hunger. Like, can you imagine being continuously and just not knowing the cutoff point? But yeah, and I put it up on. I said, listen, and I put like Andrea Bocelli's "Time to Say Goodbye" underneath it as well. I was like, this is very sad. There's gonna be vigils outside the house.
yeah.
But straight away, like, we reached our limit. We reached our goal within an hour.
That's amazing.
I was like, okay, I'm going to leave this up for the month. If anybody wants to give more, but it's coming off now. It's got to come off now, so we're cutting it off.
We're
Like,
kind of thinking of, so every Christmas, myself and my brother, like, my younger brother is the male version of me. Like, he's the exact same person. Like,
just going around
like
smashing people
he's
on
like
the pitch.
he's like my twin. He literally is like my twin. Exact same person. But we do on Christmas, we just get absolutely sloshed on Christmas. But we do
Nice.
24 cans of Christmas.
Nice.
And we were kind of like, geez, we should do it for charity. And
You
then
absolutely should.
I would love to, but then you run the risk of it being like you're promoting alcoholism. Do you know that kind of way? And I don't want to be that. But also, there's so many people that follow it along. Like,
Listen, Jerry McBride does want follow. Do you like, if you've ever come across McBride? Myself have a podcast. He writes for Waterford Whispers, and we have a podcast called the Tom and Jerry Show. What else are you going to call it? Like, but he does it. He does 24 bottles at Christmas.
yeah.
And he went, I can't do a serious so like last year he did one for hedgehogs of Ireland. Basically,
Okay.
there's one to rescue hedgehogs, like,
Yeah.
and he did one another year for the donkeys, the
Okay.
donkey sanctuary.
Well,
So
I'm a big animal lover, so that would be great. Something
so
like
if you
that, yeah.
if you don't want to go, because as soon as you tip your toe into helping humans, and
Yeah,
referencing it,
yeah.
so I think there's at least a soft crossover there.
That's a good idea. I'm going to do
Or
that.
just
then.
do it to raise funds for your local GA or whatever you want to do it. But
No,
you should.
fuck them. They don't need it. They have enough money, the bastards.
I actually worked with one. I taught an acting class it's just outside Laois. What's it called?
There's plenty of places just
Oh,
outside
Jesus,
Laois.
there is. It'll be south of here. What is the name of the village? Begun with an R.
Rosenhals?
No.
Rathdowney.
I think it was Rathdowney.
Rathdowney.
Rathdowney. Yeah, oh, they were Rathdowney.
No, you can't say the TH. No, there's not even a T. Not even Rathdowney. Rathdowney, yeah.
Rathdowney, so straight to the D.
Rathdowney. Down
Straight
the
to
square in Rathdowney.
Yeah. Tried, like, there were short versions of well-known movies, and like there was a few points where people going, so should I do the accent? I'm like, absolutely not. You will do a crossover between an American accent and your accent. Let's just go straight to your accent, because there's no get shaking that ever off your system. Like, so we just stuck with it. But it was definitely the 24. Like, you must be. Are you hammered? What, 24 cans of the same stuff?
No, it's a blessing and a curse. I'm unnatural at drinking.
Are you?
Oh, I don't know. Like, even we were there. Like, I keep referring back to the weekend in Westport, but they had a keg of Guinness and we were drinking. And I started drinking pints of Guinness from 1 o'clock. And pints of Guinness are like small lunches.
Yeah.
They're heavy. Like, I was drinking until like 4 o'clock in the morning. At one point, one of the lads goes to me, "Jeez, you love pints. How many is that now?" And I'm like, "Shut up! I'm on my holidays." And then Stephen said, "I'm like Paddy Lossey's love child."
Like, you were stayed continuously drinking pints of Guinness.
Yeah, and
through the day.
But but also I have this thing that I'll drink, and I could be absolutely flaming, but I'm completely coherent and have a conversation and act like a normal functioning.
You sneaky whore.
That's
good now.
I mightn't remember, but like, it's and my brother Sean is the exact same.
Go away to another animal.
Well, my
to
older
drink.
brother's the same. The three of us. I don't know where Mum and Dad got us, to be honest, because they're not big drinkers at all.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they saved up enough in their genetics that you're actually living vicariously as a result of it.
3 absolute tanks for beer. Septic, really.
I'd love it. Like, and the thing is, like, if the other two look anything like you look like 3 athletes walking in who would be pissed on the smell of it. Like, and all of a sudden, you're just hammering it through like some big fat bloke, some 30-stone fat bloke.
And all 3 of us our nicknames are Cody. So you could 3 of us there drinking pints. Someone says, "Cody," 3 of us go, like squirrel looking around. Who said that?
Like, if you're able to drink from 1 till 4 in the morning. Like,
And the only reason I stopped was because I had to drive the next day. So I was like, I need to rein it in here and sneak off to bed. And I'll Irish goodbye.
like you should be wearing a white shirt with your belly out here and braces.
Well, to be fair,
the shirt open down to about here and a hairy chest, even though you are a woman, a hairy chest out to here. And
a woman
rolled
can
up.
I could very well have a hairy chest. I mean, it's a complex.
Hey,
I know.
listen, you could be they, them. I don't mind.
It's a good
very
balance.
open.
No, like as in, I actually had this conversation with someone who messaged me the other
It's a
day.
good balance
She
to be able
just
to be
goes
an
to
animal
me,
to drink.
She goes, you're either training for the 24 cans of Christmas, or you're a gym girl. You can't be both. Pick one, or it'll expose you. And I said, it's only November and December where I go wrong. Like, so silly season starts for me in November because my birthday's in November. But sure, for the rest of the year I'll be playing sport. And then even when I'm beering, I'm flat out in the gym all the time. So I'm constantly like chipping away at the damage I'm doing to my liver for the 2 months of the year that goes. And then of course you have your matches. So after matches I'll go drinking throughout the year as well. But it's not at all as mad during the year as it is in November and December.
So the first couple of weeks in November, you're like
I'm like, it's my birthday month.
Are you drunk, drink wise? Are you tight? You know what I mean? Are their muscles tight? Do you need to is there a proverbial
Training
drink version of a like a warm up? Like
no,
straight.
I don't lose the tolerance. Like,
don't you?
No, I don't know what the story is.
Oh Jesus, I do. If I haven't been steady drinking, say like heavy gigging season, right now where I'm not getting to drink half as much as I love, I'll be shite. Like come Christmas Day now, I'll be flame boat. Like after 10 cans now, I'll be rotten. I'll be rotten.
So myself and Stephen did a video where I did a lip sync of his sound and he comes into the background of it and he posted on his page and someone commented underneath. It was like, Jay's like, buy her pints all day. And Stephen's like, careful, she'll drink 45 of them and go back for 10 more. Not a cheap date. And it's true. Like we were even trying to figure out how many pints I had when we were in Westport, and I said it to my brother Sean. I was like, I think I definitely had at least 30 pints. Like, he's like, there's no way you had 30 pints. I'm like, Sean, I'm telling you, the limit does not exist. I don't know how many I had, but I had so many.
What are you made of? Like, because you're not holding up. Like, are you made of starch or turf
but
or
even
something?
like that, like, this might be too much information, but if I go out drinking, like, I won't even break the seal for ages. Like,
how many pints before you have to take your first whiz?
I could literally be on drinking for like at least 3-4 hours before I'd even need to go. Like,
So that could be like 5-6 pints.
yeah. More than that. I'm a fast drinker. I'm a bit of a fish.
You don't come back to gears at all.
No,
You don't go cruising like from pint 4 onwards. No, you just
well,
stay.
I could do, you know, but when you're chatting shite, you kind of tend to slow down when you're chatting shite, and I do a fair bit of that. So
I just wonder what you're like. We need to test you. Like, you might be the.
this good podcast 2 coming soon where we test the beer.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Actually, PJ would definitely sponsor that. He would definitely sponsor. He's up for anything to do with having the crack in pints. We should actually do that.
Yeah, 100%.
But we should bring in like some sort of medical specialist that can actually monitor, like, I don't know,
Check my blood pressure and everything
check
as I'm going.
something that's going on. Like,
Yeah, it's
what's
not right
going
now.
on? Because what are you made of that you can actually process it that fast? Like, you might have some sort of genetics that maybe we could use. I don't know, in advancing humans.
Yeah, maybe, but like then you look at how I can drink pints, and then I'm fairly immunocompromised. Like, as in I'd be sick all the time. Like, like as in any bit of a cold or a flu going, I'd be struck down like a sick note. Like, you know, I'm well able for pints, but the old common flu or a cold will knock me for 6. Like,
Maybe we should try and curtail one to help the other. Fuck that, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
good crack on the pints.
No.
They invented Lemsip for a reason.
it doesn't fucking work.
Does it not?
No, especially if you overdose on it.
Does medical stuff work on you? Like, if you were throwing stuff, like, are you just a waste of time to give you anything, really, when it comes to any sort of substance?
What do you mean?
Like, drink don't make an effect on you.
Oh well, it
Like-
no, it has an effect, but not to the extent.
Well,
of
like, you
having-
told me you can still stay upright after
Yeah.
drinking for nearly 20 hours.
Yeah, but I'm brazen, like.
Yeah, but that's not human. Like, to be able to stay hard drinking
Yeah.
for 20 hours, you're not a 45 stone man. Like,
No.
only
Well,
those
not
tanks
that
can
I
normally
don't think
deal with
so.
that. Like, maybe, hey,
I
maybe
am
you
a tank.
Maybe you identify as a
Maybe.
40. Maybe that's. I identify as a 45
In a
stone
past
man.
life, I was actually an army tank made of metal.
We call her the.
Ting,
Get rid
ting,
of
ting,
Classy
ting.
Cody. It's
The tank.
the tank, the Panzer, the
It's,
Panzer.
it's not even the tank. It's D' tank. The tank.
The tank. But so there must be something like so. Does any medical stuff take it? Like so, if you're taking Lemsip, waste of time. If you're
Yeah.
taking your day and night Benylin, waste of time.
Mm.
What I'm saying is like stuff just passes through you, not a bother. Like
Yeah.
you must be made of turf or something.
I've never been to the bog.
You've never been to the bog.
No. Do you know people are always going cutting turf? I've never been there.
Nobody's ever been to the bog. Like almost, I would say 0.1% of the population, and it seems to be a very popular thing
I
for like.
always hear people shiting on about being cutting turf in the bog. Oh, I have to go to the bog. I'm like, what? What do you mean you have to go? If my dad turned around to me and said, you have to go to the bog, I'd be like, I don't have to do anything. I will not go.
It seems to be. We lived in Broadford one time. It'd be kind of on the Kildare-Laois border. And they were all going on about the bog, going to the bog, and it would seem that farmers have their own little patch of bog, and they would drag their sons and daughters to the bog during the summer. But that was one tiny enclave of people, and when you start looking into it, you're like, you're all talking about bogs, lads. There's almost nobody going to bogs. Why are you trying to summarise this thing as being a popular thing?
Did you bring the flask of tea and a ham sandwich as well? You did.
And the midges are going to eat you down.
And they ate you alive.
Sounds to me like a lot of lazy children being put to work by their parents who are whinging as a result of it. Like,
Oh, jeez.
get with it. You're getting free actual fuel for your family home out of the ground. Thank your lucky stars.
Yeah.
Almost nobody else can do that.
Also, I would be one of the people to whinge if I had to go. I wouldn't be doing that now. Go out of that. Going to the bog.
To be fair.
But to be fair, I'm from the town, so.
You see, this is the thing. A lot of people like anybody from a major city, or like anybody from Dublin. You're a culture regardless, whether you like it or not. You're driving tractors, you smell like shite, and that's just it. But whereas they don't realise you're a townie, different kettle of fish
You
altogether.
can't say you're a townie in Dublin either. There's a total different meaning for it.
Does it?
Yeah, townie means you're rough out.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
But you're not rough out. Are you rough?
No, I'm
I
not
can't
at
tell
all.
if you're rough.
I'm definitely not rough.
Are you not?
What?
I don't know.
Oh, that's harsh. I thought we were friends.
You've shocked me with the. I'm still stuck on the 30 pints thing. That's where I'm rattled. I can't even properly ask you any questions.
It probably wasn't 30, but there was a lot of pints between 1 and 4 a.m. Like.
The last time I remember drinking Guinness.
And the worst part was I was pulling my own pints as well. So like I was just like absolutely sowing them. And every single time.
Hold on. We get a lot of listeners abroad, right? And we get a lot of listeners even in the north and stuff like that. You used a reference there to measure how hard you were going at it. I was absolutely sowing them. That's
That's just normal. That's just
that means going very hard at the pints.
Okay. So to explain. So you know what a sow is, don't you?
A lot of people don't.
So it's a cow. Hear me, a cow.
You're all right.
That's okay. I haven't had enough coffee today. I'm in a pub and I'm drinking coffee. That's just the start of it. I should be having a pint.
Yeah, it's true.
So a sow. You know what a pig is, don't you? Not to be confused with the police force. The pig. It's a female pig. Now, if you've ever seen a female pig eat, or a pig by itself even, it's like... That's what it's like.
That's going to be some ASMR creepy bastard is going to cut that now.
Did you like that? You did.
That was...
Yeah, so just absolutely milling pints.
And the boys can do the same. That's very exciting, the notion. So I'm gonna, do you do it live or do you message live, or what way do you do it?
Just my stories would be updated throughout the day. My Instagram I'd be a dose, more of a dose than usual on Christmas Day.
That's interesting now to keep an eye.
I actually have a highlight reel from last year saved on my Instagram page.
Do ya?
24 cans of Christmas. I've actually updated to 24 cans of Christmas 21, and then 24 cans of Christmas 22 is saved there as well with a countdown that you can save to remind you that we are doing 24 cans of Christmas. Just in case you weren't aware that Christmas Day is on Christmas Day.
Are you doing 24 cans of Guinness?
No, I'm actually
too heavy.
I'm toying with the idea of getting a keg.
Oh.
So like I've been told what's in a keg, is it 88 pints or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not 24 cans of Christmas. But I won't be doing it by myself.
Split with the two boys.
With the two lads, yeah. So, you know. And you have room for a bit extra as well if you're feeling so way inclined.
That's a serious. You're getting fair serious. You have to do a charity if that's the case. Like.
Yeah. If I can manage to get my hands on a keg, I'll do it, no bother. Anyone want to sponsor a keg?
Kavanagh's a Portlaoise, by the way.
Would you have a tap? I don't have one. No point giving me a keg if you don't give me the tap.
He does actually. I think he does a mobile thing actually here. I think that he leases out to.
I'll have a word with him.
I'm pretty
have a little
sure.
word in his ear before I leave.
And tell me this, because you do. I won't keep you for much longer.
Okay.
Do you because I'm always interested. So somebody sends you out. Do they message you first? Go, hi Louise, hi Classy. Can we send you out a product? And has there any been a point where you're going, Eric, keep it? I wouldn't be any interested in that. Like
They would usually be like, hey Louise, love your content, this and that. Would you mind sending me on your address? You'd love to send your product, blah blah. There's no pressure for you to post or whatever. And to be honest, if I get a really nice note off someone, like it's always the note I get that will be like, I'm putting this up, like, because it's generally like I don't get sent stuff from like big companies. Yeah. So it's generally like smaller Irish owned companies.
I think that's way cooler.
That don't have the budget to be paying people to be promoting them. So when they send a lovely note, I'm just like, oh, it's like with the wax thing. I was like, you might as well be calling me Chewbacca. Like, I picked up the note and I was like, what are they trying to say? And I was like, dearest Chewbacca. I know. Hello, Louise.
Do you know what the simpleness of my brain thought? Wax. She's going wax in the car. Is that? Oh, you mean hair removal wax? Yeah. Right. Fair enough. Yeah. But and just like that, the odd time I've ever gotten sent something if it's from a local crowd, but it's normally. Like if anybody's ever sold anything themselves on, like whether even from a ticket to anything, the kick you get from somebody buying that one thing, like rather than it being a multinational corporation or whatever, when somebody writes it, it's the person that put that thing together wrote it.
But even like there's a company called Crack Galore in I think where are they based out of? I saw their stuff originally at a market in Limerick. I think they could be based out of like. I'm not going to say where they're based because I'll offend them if they hear this. But I bought a Christmas jumper off them. Like I didn't know, it wasn't sent to me, and it basically was like, feck it, sure look, it's Christmas, and then in massive capital letters, pints.
Class.
And I wore it when I was out in Galway, and the amount of people that asked me where it's from and even messaged me on Instagram, where is it from, and went and bought them. I was like, yes.
Class.
Yes.
That's the perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. They need to stitch in or knit in like a QR code onto their shoulder or something so people can just go up and swipe it.
Yeah.
But I love that. The same with Hairy Baby down in Cork. I put up the odd phrase and he's stuck up for me a few times because jokes of mine have been...
Hairy Baby, that's where they do the t-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I might actually get on to him to make me 24 cans Christmas t-shirts.
He'd be all... Dara, we will hook it up. He's a friend of the podcast. But he's a class act.
Yeah.
He's spotted a few times that larger named, we'll call them, I suppose, online personalities have completely lifted jokes of mine and sold them as their own online.
Stop.
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times, like, and I didn't spot it, but he did.
Yeah.
Or people will go, this sounds familiar. Do you and it's happened a few times.
Yeah.
And what he'll do then is he did it twice where I remember I was on a film set one day. He goes, are you anywhere near a blank wall with a white t-shirt? I went, what kind of a question is that? But yeah, by pure fluke, I'm wearing a white t-shirt. Get somebody to take a photograph of you right now. What? And he will illustrate the joke through one means or another. Yeah. Put it on the t-shirt through using Photoshop and say, Tom came to me with this 3 months ago and I'm only getting around to it, which basically backdates my joke. So anybody else thinking that he'll go after, he will tag the person and everything going. So thinking that, devil. Yeah, just you're going. You
need friends like that.
Yeah, a class act. Yeah. But in fairness, he's one of those. He's hooked up with a bunch of artists and stuff that I know. I know Aoife Dooley. I think he's hooked up with her. He does Water for Whisper stuff. But it's again a cool. It's not a one man band. He now has a big team working for him, and they all love working for him. And that's the sort when people come up and go, "Where did you?" You go,
"Where did you get the jumper?"
I'd be only delighted to tell you. Because the whole backstory is cool, like, you know. Yeah. What's the... Okay, so we have 24 pints, 24 cans of Christmas. Possibly pints if a keg can be organised. But I think as a result of this podcast, we probably will be able to get you a keg.
I do like kegs.
Literally on premises here.
Yeah, I don't need anyone to pour my pints. I'm well able to do that myself.
Can you back the car up to the door of the place is what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%. Well, yeah. Well, you could, yeah.
Yeah, you could. There's a set down area. There's very important stuff. Yeah. The guards will just wave you on.
Oh, I don't know. Got a ticket from getting dropped out. I got dropped outside here. There's a disability car space. Yeah. And I was going into a different establishment, not Kavanagh's. I was going into Lily's. I was getting dropped in to go for dinner in Lily's, which is next door. and wasn't all in the parking space literally hovering all of about, say, 5 seconds. Car right beside, out, ticket given. I was like, oh,
Jesus.
I was literally jumping out of the car. Felt bad. I didn't have to pay it, but
So, what is, other than your stand-up debut, which will be all waiting with bated breath, what else is coming up? Or have you a series of stuff that, because you have a funny feeling you've always got something in the pipeline.
I'm starting to make moves and shapes, I guess.
I like
Be
it.
a bit of a shaper, but like, I suppose starting to focus on the comedy content and getting some content out for that, ready for maybe supporting a show. I'm looking into getting into radio also, so there's
Class.
going doing training in radio next week. What else? There's a few the weekend of the 16th, 17th, I'm going back to Westport with all the content creators that I was there with a couple of weeks ago for more gallivanting, and I've just received a megaphone that I ordered in replacement of my Bluetooth microphone, just to take it up a notch. So I'll be going around Westport with a megaphone, so you won't miss me.
I love it, because
Yeah.
there's so often you'll find it goes, so I'll be at O'Shea's at about 2:30. You won't need to know where Louise is.
You'll
She'll
hear
tell
me.
you.
You will hear me before you see me. No, and that's a given without the megaphone, to be honest.
Well, Classy Cody, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you
It's
very,
been
very much.
emotional. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. What a legend. Thank you very, very much, Louise. So do follow her, Classy Cody. You won't be disappointed. And I've nothing else just to see how she's going to polish off a slab during Christmas time. McBride, my God. Brilliant. Oh, yes, speaking of another person who does a slab during a Christmas Day, it's Jerry McBride, the Tom and Jerry Show. Very excited to say we're going to have a Christmas special out for you. Yes, we recorded one during the week, and we're going to have it out probably middle of next week, I would imagine. So, if you haven't listened to the Tom and Jerry Show before, what are you missing out on? Lots. There's like 7 seasons of the Tom and Jerry Show. Jerry with a G. Very easy to find. It involves both myself and Jerry McBride of Waterford Whispers. So we did a Christmas special. Like I was saying, we're going to have a live Patreon podcast this Sunday evening, 8 o'clock. So if you want to jump over for that, it's $3 hairs to join the Patreon. And with that, you get all the ad-free content. You get the videos of the podcasts, as well as that you get midweek ramble pods, and you get to join the live ones. Yeah, no, it's class. That's all I'll say. It's class. Failing that, if it's your first time, go ahead, hit subscribe, hit the bell as well, so you know it pops up on your phone, and tell everybody about it. Have a lovely, lovely Christmas if I'm not talking to you before then, although I possibly will be. I will be. I have a very exciting one actually to land just before Christmas. Very, very exciting one to do, as is now almost tradition, but I'll have a very, very fun one in the next few days. Go on away, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you again next week. Good night, bless, thanks.